Hi, my name is Douglas. I'm an environmental scientist with over 25 years of experience conducting environmental site assessments for real estate transactions. I'm personally searching for either land or a house in North Carolina, specifically either in Lee, Chatham, or Harnett counties just south of Raleigh. So I thought I'd share with you in real time me clearing a property for issues to be aware of. Maybe you can learn something. Hopefully it'll be helpful. So piece of property just northwest of Sanford caught my eye. Specifically, it's this piece of property here, and the listing is for 15 acres for $125,000 on Clarence McKenneth Road. So the first thing we do is we just sort of take a look at the pictures here, and we can see that it's kind of pine scrubland, second growth. Looks like a rural area. Not a lot going on the property, so that's good. Yeah, it's second growth timber. Gives us the property boundaries so we can match that up. Gives the dimensions. So it's just a simple little piece of property. Well, what can we find out about it? So first thing we do is just locate it on Google's map. And so I've already gone ahead and done that, and the parcel is about right in here. We want to look at a satellite map of it. Our parcel is in this general area right here. And I just want to zoom out a little bit to make sure I don't see anything like if you see long buildings, those would be hog farms and or chicken houses, and you really don't want to live on top of one of those because when they clean them in the spring, it does not smell very good. So I don't see anything there. The next thing I'm going to do is actually go to, this is in Lee County or Chatham County. So I'm going to go to Chatham County, North Carolina's GIS system. So I just do a search on that. Most places have online mapping and GIS systems. So there's a wealth of information that can be obtained on these sites. Our property is in this general area. It's these properties here. So I'm going to do identify right here, and it's going to give me, yep, there's the Marsh Albert. It says that's 6 acres. And then there's Marsh Albert, another 2. So we're 8, 9. So it's actually several parcels here. Marsh Albert 5. So there's, and then that's somebody else. So it's 3 different parcels right here. So we want to focus on these 3 parcels right here. And it looks like there's another parcel there. And when we do a search on that, if it'll come up, Marsh Albert 2. So there's the whole 15 acres. It's these 4 parcels generally end here. So you can usually find data layers. In this case, they have. We want to check for flood hazards because we are in a bend of the deep river, which you'll see down here. And when I'll do that, you'll see that the flood zone, we're way off the flood zone. So the deep river is this dark blue line down here. This hash is what they're calling the flood zone. We're way off of that, so we don't have to worry about flooding issues. The contours lines, it shows us contour lines. It's kind of gently sloped. We're going about 270 to 280, 290. So it's not rid, it's not steeply sloped or anything, so we don't have to worry about any bizarre topography. So far it's looking good. Let's see if there's anything else over here we could be aware of. Yeah, that's about all we need to look at on here. Just as a precaution, because we want to check, EPA has a site called EnviroMapper, which you'll see here, and you can just do EPA EnviroMapper. It comes up. EnviroMapper, you can see it's already highlighted because I use it a lot. And then we put in our road, and we'll see if it'll actually come up. McKeithen Road, Sanford, and see if it actually pulls up this address, and it does. So our parcels are in this general area, you can see. And then what we're going to do is if we go up here to the top, you'll see where it says search EnviroFacts, and we want to do it by search by program. So when we do that, it pulls up all of these different potential programs: air pollution, Superfund sites, toxic releases, hazardous waste, water discharges, brownfields. And if you look, all these are zeroed out. So and we'll pull out a little bit fun. You'll see that when we pull out a little bit more, there's an air site, there's a hazardous site, there's a water discharge site, but you can see everything is well away from this property, like significantly far from this property. So no issues there. So those are like the two biggest ones that we always look for, are floodplains and looking for hazardous waste. The really cool thing about North Carolina is they actually have, you can just do North Carolina UST incident maps, and they have these entire series that sort of replace this. They have debris sites, underground storage tank sites on this map. So we can just zoom into where the location is on this map and just look and see if anything, so there's some UST incidents well away from our site. We're down in this general area. They're all up here. But really what I want to look for here, and not all states have this, but North Carolina definitely does, we want to make sure that there are no debris sites. See if that map comes up. Nope. UST sites registered. We just checked that one. It's not going to be any dry cleaners out there because it's too far out there. Inactive hazardous pre-regulatory landfills map. So we definitely want to check that one. And these are pre-regulatory landfills, are ones that they know about that were created before liners, and that if you had a pre-regulatory landfill in your general vicinity, you could have groundwater issues. So those are nothing because are right here. So far this property looks really clean. There's nothing going on here. But then we have to think about, if we go back to our property here, we are rural property. So let's just see if it has a street view. And then if we go in on a street view, let's see if it'll pick it up on street view here. And our property is over here. See, the street view shows it clear cut. So that's interesting. But if we look down here, it says the image capture was 2007, and this is 2021. So it was clear cut a while back. So that goes back to what we were seeing here, that this is definitely second growth. It's about, 15-year-old timber, 14-year-old, somewhere in there. So, yep, everything's consistent. Everything's good. Looks like the road's actually been paved since then, because it looks like, yeah, the road has been paved. The thing we do know is that there are no city services out here. So there are no public water lines or public sewers. So you'll have to have a water supply well and a septic tank. Because of that, one of the things we really want to do is make sure that there are no issues with the soil. So one of the things that Chatham County has is they do have soils maps. Not that I'm seeing it off the top of my head, but actually it'd be better if I just showed you how to do this from the universal way. So the USDA has a soils mapper. So you can see it's the Web Soil Survey, USDA, United States thing. And here's their wet landing page, big green button in the top. Start this. And what we're going to do is check our property, which we can do an address search. We have our address up here, Clarence McKeithen Road, Sanford, North Carolina. Let's see if it finds it. The address is not found, but we know generally where it's at. So we're just going to have to do this the old-fashioned way and zoom in on it. And while it's doing this, what this system will tell us is what soil types are on the property. And then what we'll do is pull the soil records and read those to make sure that there are no issues with the soil, because if the soil does not do what's called perk, which is absorb water, then you either have to spend a lot of money on an engineered system, or you're not going to get a septic permit. And if you can't get a septic permit, you cannot construct a house, in which case this is just timberland. It's not land for building a house, which is what I'd want to do with it, build a house. So we've zoomed down to our area. There is our general property. And then what we do is what up here it's called define area of interest, AOI. And I'm just going to highlight our general area. And that brings up this area of interest zooming map. That'll give me a soils map. And now I have soil names. Well, these soil names, if I click on them, will tell me a little bit about them. So what I'm looking at here is available water capacity moderate. That's okay. Drainage class somewhat poorly drained. That is not good. CCCB. And then there was the, oh, sorry, it moved. This is what you get when you do live. So that was the center of the property is not well drained. And then we look over at the next one, and we're looking at here moderately well drained, so that's a little bit better. And then we look over here and it says well drained. So it's MAMBP. Let's find that on the map. MAMB. So there's some drainage in the corner over here that's well drained, and you can see there's a house there already, so that must not be our property. We'll check back to our tax maps. Yeah, so that's off our property. Our property is these three over here, or at least. So this good drainage soil is off our property. And then the other place we can actually check is each county has a soil survey. And if we pull that up, and this is a PDF, and we look at this soil survey, CCB, and these are searchable PDFs, so we can just do a Control F, CCB, Carbon and Brickton Haven, and soil property qualities, somewhat poorly drained. Let's see if it says anything out of it. Land use, pasture and hayland, agricultural development, moderate pasture, woodland, urban development, moderately suited, shrink swell potential, wetness and depth of bedrock. Constructing dwellings on raised, well-compacted fill material reduces the risk of damage from wetness. Artificial drainage systems or diversions help to remove excess water, surface water. Reinforcing foundations and footings or backfilling using coarse texture material, helping strengthen buildings, prevent damage caused by shrinking and swelling. Then it says septic tank absorption fields, poorly suited. That's our CCB. And if we look back here at our, that is the whole center of the track. And then there's a CRB at the top corner up here. CRB. And if we go down here, look for the same thing. Dwelling septic, poorly suited. Wetness and restricted permeability. This is not looking good. There's a PEA on a little bit on the edge. Let's see what that is. PEA. Pickwick. Whoop. That is a lot of this. Is that the right one? Pickwick. Yeah. So it is one of these Pickwick series. Let's see if we can find that one. It is, sorry, it's having to flip through a lot of these looking for up here we are, PEA. Pickwick's fine sandy loam, and then we look back down here and it says local road septic tanks poorly suited. This is not good. This is very, very not good. I am not finding MRA, MAA, and MAB. Let's see. I'm desperately looking for Mary Oak. That's Mary Oaks Complex, MRA, and it says septic unsuited, flooding, wetness restricted, ponding. Yeah. So what we're basically finding out is that this property does not perk. So if we actually look back at the listing and read the description here, over 15 acres rolling tank, heavily wooded, ideally suited for your dream home, offering plenty area for residents while leaving ample space to pursue your hobbies. Except the land does not perk. And if it doesn't perk, you can't actually build a house on it. You're not going to get a septic permit. So that's the importance of looking at the soil surveys, because the soil surveys will tell you what the issues are. So I hope that was very helpful. I know it was long, but this is how this works. So hopefully I can make some more of these.